Goodnight Moon by Margaret Wise Brown. Pictures by Clement Hurd. Chapter 1. In the great green room there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of... Look, you can see there are several pictures there illustrated on the wall of the great green room. One is the image of 3 bears, and another depicts a cow jumping over the moon. Oh, you see it is written precisely as I have described. The cow jumping over the moon. And there were 3 little bears sitting on chairs. These are indeed preposterous images. A cow can no more jump over the moon than these bears can ignore their predatory instincts. I believe the common denominator of the universe is not harmony, but chaos, hostility, and murder. I am haunted by the faces of the bears in which I discover no kinship, no understanding, no mercy. I see only the overwhelming indifference of nature. To me, there is no such thing as a secret world of the bears, and this blank stare speaks only of a half-bored interest in food. And 2 little kittens, and a pair of mittens, and a little toy house, and a young mouse, and a comb and a brush, and a bowl full of mush, and a quiet old lady who was whispering, "Hush." This, of course, is not a lady at all, but some sort of anthropomorphized beast, a bastardized creature whose identity lies somewhere between the human and the common hare. With a comb and a brush, talismans of a humanity it can never possess or even fully grasp. An abomination not unlike the first draft of a Frankenstein monster, and discarded just as quickly. Goodnight Room. Goodnight Moon. Goodnight cow jumping over the moon. Goodnight light and the red balloon. Goodnight bears and goodnight chairs. You see, this young rabbit is saying goodnight to inanimate objects in the room in an effort to forego his rest and stay up late. No doubt this is why the rabbit woman hushes him, but he understands the impermanence of his own existence. Life on our planet has been a consistent series of cataclysmic events, and we are more suitable for extinction than a trilobite or a reptile. So will we vanish. There's no doubt in my heart. We all traverse the aimless narrative of our short lives, only to be blinked out in an instant. Good night, light indeed. Good night, kittens, and good night, mittens. Good night, clocks, and good night, socks. Good night, little house, and good night, mouse. Surely this mouse is the prey of the aforementioned kittens. Nature is vile and base. Good night, comb, and good night, brush. Good night, nobody. In a way, we are all whispering good night to nobody. There is no harmony in the universe. We have to get acquainted to this idea that there is no real harmony as we have conceived it. It is monstrously indifferent to our existence, and this frail valediction leaves our lips only to float endlessly in a cold and empty void, with no one to hear it. I suggest that Good Night Nobody is a much more fitting title. Good night, mush. And good night to the old lady, whispering hush. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Taking a close look at what's around us here, there is some sort of harmony. It is the harmony of overwhelming and collective murder. We, in comparison to the articulate vileness and baseness and obscenity, we, in comparison to that enormous articulation, we only sound and look like badly pronounced and half-finished sentences out of a stupid suburban novel. We have to become humble in front of this overwhelming misery and overwhelming fornication, overwhelming growth and overwhelming lack of order. Even the stars up here in the sky look like a mess. Goodnight noises everywhere. The end. This has been a presentation of Audible.